Today we're going to talk about pattern block fractions. Fractions are smaller pieces of one whole. Remember that in order for it to be a fraction, all the pieces need to be the same size. If you look at our picture, not all of the pieces are the same size. So how are we going to label our fractions? The first step is to identify the smallest shape inside of our design, and that would be our small triangle. So what we need to do next is we need to make our shape all into the same size triangle. I am going to use my line tool to make my hexagon into triangles. Now, I have two triangles, but I also have two rhombuses, so I need to continue to break up my hexagon until each piece is equal to this green triangle. Alright, now I still have my trapezoids left. I can do the same thing with my trapezoid. I am going to break my trapezoids up into three triangles. If I were to take a pattern block, and we have practiced this at school, we could actually put the small green triangles right on top of our shapes to figure out how many there are. Now we have every single piece the same size, so this is now a true fraction. So in order to label each part, I need to count how many triangles I have in my shape. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So each piece of this fraction is 1/18. Now, what if I was to look at what this particular trapezoid was equal to? Well, I have three pieces of my whole fraction, my whole shape. So in this case, I would have 3/18, which tells me that each trapezoid in my shape is equal to 3/18. Now, what about my hexagon in the middle here? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 triangles inside my hexagon. And because there are 18 pieces in my whole entire shape, the fraction would be equal to 6/18. Now let's take a look at another shape. You will notice in this design there are rhombuses and a square. Now, they're not the same size and shape, but they're both typically the same, about the same size. In this one, we can't really take one shape and make it into another. However, I know that I can make triangles that are the same size out of all the same shapes. So I am going to take each of my rhombus and divide it into a triangle. And I can also take my square and cut this into a triangle as well. Now, it's not exactly the same shape, but it is relatively about the same size. So now what we need to do is we can figure out what fraction of the design is each shape. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I know that I have 10 total pieces. So the denominator of my fraction is 10. Now each one of these triangles again is 1/10 of the shape. Well, you may ask then, what is the fraction for each rhombus? I have 2 triangles, and out of 10 total pieces. Another way you can write that fraction is 1/5, because if I take 2 and divide it by 2, I get 1. If I take 10 and divide it by 2, I get 5. So that is another way you can write it if you know that. Then if you take a look at the square in our shape, you will see that there are 2, again, out of 10, or 1/5. The important thing to remember is when you are trying to find the fraction of each shape, you must break it down into the smallest piece that is equal, so that you can figure out how many total pieces inside of your whole that you have.